Hello everyone, my name is Shelby Dawn, and today on my channel we are going to be discussing the movie E.T. while I get unready for bed. So let's get right into it. E.T. was created by, or directed I should say, by Steven Spielberg, who is the mastermind behind several movie classics like Jaws and Jurassic Park, and the score was made by John Williams, who is the mastermind behind Star Wars, for any Star Wars fanatics out there like me, Jaws, and also Jurassic Park, and several other various movies. Now, our movie begins in the forest of California. So, the area zooms in on alien creatures. Now, I'm going to look like a raccoon for a few seconds, guys. I'm sorry. Anyway, so this movie begins, as I said before, in the forest, and the camera zooms down to a spaceship with alien creatures entering and exiting with plant life. Now, as they do so, there's one little one that wanders off, looking around for more plant life around. This one will happen to be our main alien character, which is E.T. Now, E.T. wanders off a little too far into the woods, and he looks around at suburban California. Now, before he can, just enjoy the view for just a few minutes, cars start to arrive. I have yet to speculate that these are UFO investigators, and E.T. tries to hide, but the mother, or whatever, the leader of these aliens, calls for them using his chest, which lights up. E.T. being scared and hiding, his chest goes off, which causes all of these investigators to turn around, looking towards where E.T. is attempting to hide. Now, E.T. does not have the name E.T. I just don't want to refer to him as the little creature, because it's kind of sad, and he's cute. And he's always going to be E.T. in my heart. Now, this causes E.T. to run off before the spaceship can actually try to leave. But unfortunately, E.T. makes it too late, and the spaceship takes off after him. So E.T. has no other choice but to head to suburban California, where he will meet a little boy who will become his best friend, aka Elliot. Now, Elliot comes from a very troubled family. His mother and his father just recently got divorced. His dad is out of the picture, and he lives with his mother and his brother and their little sister Gertie, who is played by young Drew Barrymore. Wasn't she adorable? Oh, I loved her. She was so cute. So it zooms into their house, and his brother Mike has what appears to be a Dungeons and Dragons campaign going on. Now, I was excited. I didn't know what Dungeons and Dragons was when I was little, but now that I'm older and I play that game, it's so much fun. And now that I'm able to actually appreciate it, I'm glad that they're doing it. It's awesome. So Elliot really wants to play, but his brother is not letting him. In order to play, the dungeon master tells him you have to go out and get the pizza. So Elliot does just that, and instead of bringing the pizza in, he gets startled by something that is hiding in the shed. He throws a ball in there. The ball is thrown back. This causes him to drop the pizza, flip over the pizza, and run into the house to his mother, who is standing there, not knowing what to do. So all the boys run outside with knives, kitchen knives, to see what's going on. Now, his brother Mike thinks that it's coyotes, based off of footprints, which, how can they be footprints? They've only got 3 toes. Coyotes have 4 toes, okay? How does it look like a canine footprint? How? But anyway, they all go back inside, and it zooms on to the next day. Now, it doesn't really show what's going on throughout the day until later on. Now, later on, they're talking about Halloween and what they want to be for Halloween. Elliot, Gertie, Drew Barrymore, by the way, So she wants to be a cowgirl. His brother decides to make fun of him even more. And say, maybe it's a leprechaun, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And Elliot says some graphic stuff right back to him, and his mother is not having it. Sorry, guys, I'm looking in the mirror to make sure that I'm getting it all in there. And so they're fighting over whose night it is to wash the dishes. And it turns out it's Mike's night. But Elliot does it anyway because he says something very, very upsetting to his mother, which is the fact that his dad is in Mexico with his girlfriend at the time. Now, it's a really touchy subject for his mom because apparently his dad hates Mexico. So she walks away and tells Elliot, do not go after this creature. You call for one of us. So later that night, Elliot decides to camp out outside. I also skipped over where he goes back in and looks for through the corn and meets the creature, and then the creature runs off. Forgot about that part, sorry. But anyway, so he waits for the creature. He's also left him a trail of Reese's Pieces. That was hilarious to me. Like, attract this alien with some candy. Let's see what happens then. Yeah. I think that would be kind of the same thing that we would do as kids, So I think it's kind of cute and funny. But the alien comes back and he leads him into the house with more Reese's Pieces. So Elliot has officially made friends with an alien. Elliot the next morning wakes up and fakes that he's sick, like most kids do. So he tries to introduce the alien, E.T., with all the things on Earth. But little does he know, he has an emotional connection with this alien already. He's hungry, E.T.'s hungry, he's hungry. If he's scared, if E.T.'s scared, he's scared, etc., etc., etc. So it goes further on, later on, and Mike comes home from football practice. This is where he meets the E.T. for the first time. And he thinks still it's a coyote. Sorry, guys. Train of thought here. So he meets this alien and makes him swear not to tell anyone. And Mike doesn't. Then Gertie barges in the door and all hell breaks loose. As in, Mike starts freaking out when Gertie starts freaking out. Elliot starts freaking out, trying to tell them don't freak out. And so on and so forth. So later on in the day, they start to really get to loving the creature. And the creature, they start asking them questions like, where the heck are you from? Why are you here? All those basic questions that you ask aliens that have no idea how to talk. So the next day, after interrogating the poor creature, the alien is left by himself in the house. Alien makes his way out. E.T. makes his way out of the building. Not out of the building, but out of Elliot's bedroom. And starts wandering around the house, watching TV, and then he gets in the fridge and decides to drink beer. Now remember here, Elliot and E.T. have an emotional connection. They feel what the other is feeling. E.T. gets drunk off his ass. Easier said than done. Okay, so Elliot is in science and he gets drunk. He gets intoxicated without even drinking. So Gertie and her mom get home and Sesame Street is on. And Gertie is watching Sesame Street and she starts saying B. E.T. starts talking. B, as in B, the letter B. So Gertie looks at him and goes, you said B. Good. B. Good. That part was always so cute. So Gertie takes him up to her bedroom and dresses him up in a wig, in a dress, a hat, everything. Elliot comes home and sees this poor creature dressed up as a woman. I thought it was hilarious. I really did. And he starts talking. He starts saying Elliot's name, phone, E.T. He says his name finally, E.T. So he goes, E.T., E.T., be good. E.T., phone home. And he points to the window outside. He wants to communicate with his family. So Elliot and E.T. make a plan to go to go communicate with his family to get him to go home. And little do they know that E.T. is getting sicker and sicker. They start gathering supplies, and as E.T. is building, he starts getting weaker. So Halloween rolls around, and E.T. goes dressed as a ghost with Elliot and Mike trick-or-treating. Elliot and E.T. go into the woods, and this is the iconic flight scene where Elliot flies in front of the moon to go faster, because E.T. is not having it with how slow Elliot is driving his bike. He's like, nope, we're hauling ass. Let's go. Zoom! He goes flying. So they set up this device, and it starts to work. Elliot falls asleep and wakes up the next morning, and E.T. is gone. Elliot makes his way home, and his mother has called the cops, of course, as most parents should if their kid is missing, and files a police report saying my child is missing. And she closes the door of the refrigerator, and boom, he's standing right there. So Elliot is extremely sick. He's got a fever. He's not feeling good at all. So, in other words, E.T. is sick as well. Mike goes out to find E.T. and finds him in the creek. He is white as a ghost and near death. So, and Elliot knows he's dying because he feels like he's dying. Again, I'm going to keep saying this, emotional connection. So, Elliot, Gertie, and Mike finally tell their mother what the hell is going on in the house, which is, hey, Mom, we have an alien in the house. And guess what? He's sick. And so is Elliot. So they're possibly dying together. Boom! Isn't that great? Mom spills her coffee. Mom grabs Elliot, and they run out the door. But they can't run because there's an astronaut at the doorway of the house, like the front door, like just, I'm coming in. Little did they know, a little ways back, there were investigators in the home while they were gone. So, yeah. So their home becomes like this barricade, this laboratory, because you've got Elliot who's sick and E.T. who's sick, and they're both hooked up to all sorts of machines. Elliot is looking even worse, and E.T. nearly dead. So, a few days go by, and Elliot and E.T. were talking. Like, they recorded him talking. They recorded E.T. talking. And, sorry, this movie just really gets to me. It's such a good movie. And it's so strong and powerful in terms of emotion. So they're talking, and almost immediately after, E.T. dies. You would think this would be the end of the movie, but no. Peter Coyote, who's very famous, the only other movie that I've really seen him in is A Walk to Remember, which is one of my favorite movies. I'm thinking about talking about that later on in the series. So, he has been looking for aliens since he was a little boy. He gets the honor of closing E.T.'s eyes when he dies. This is a really, really sad part of the movie because Elliot loses a friend that he truly loved. And Elliot gets to say goodbye to E.T. and he says, E.T., I love you. And he closes the lid to this casket thing and immediately E.T.'s chest lights up. E.T.'s alive! Yay! That means that the scientists are going to operate even more on him, by the way. But Elliot and Mike stop them before they can do it. Da-da-da-da! Now, Elliot and Mike come up with a plan. Mike takes one of the U.S. government's vans that has E.T.'s body in it, and Elliot's in the back too, and boom, off they go. Because E.T.'s spacecraft is coming home. It's going to pick him up. So, they're heading to the forest with their group of friends, and they start flying again. Whee! Up in the air. And Gertie and her mom are getting ready to go. Peter Coyote's character stops, and Gertie, when Peter Coyote's character asks where the hell they're going, she decides to say pretty much, we're going to see E.T. go home. She says, to the spaceship, to the moon. You just blew their cover, Gertie. As adorable as you are, you don't do that with a high government official. Actually, don't. That was bad advice. Don't follow that advice. So, E.T. gets to the spaceship. Elliot says goodbye. Gertie says goodbye. Mike says goodbye. And E.T. heads on the spaceship with a gift of flowers that Gertie gave to him that he brought back to life because they were dying. In the movie, shows him standing there in the doorway as the door closes, watching Elliot, and the spaceship takes off, and a huge rainbow is standing there. It's as soon as they just zoom off, a huge rainbow lights up the sky. And that, my friends, is the end of E.T. E.T. is a phenomenal movie. It is a masterpiece. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful storyline. I love the movie. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. Dungeons and Dragons back in that day was very popular, and it still is very popular to this day. I actually play it. Yes, I'm a closet nerd, not nurse. Sorry, I'm tired, but I figured I would do this. If you have not seen E.T., I suggest you check it out. It is wonderful. It is one of Steven Spielberg's best and John Williams' bests. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Respect each other. Respect yourselves. Spread love, not war. Love you all. Bye.